On December 1, 1918, a new country was declared in Central Europe. It had a flag, a government, and official borders. It lasted exactly 1 day. By December 2, it no longer existed. Most people have never heard of it. On December 1, 1918, a group of political leaders in the city of Zagreb declared the creation of a new country. They called it the state of Slovenes, Croats, and Serbs. It had defined borders, a national council, and diplomatic recognition from several countries. It existed for exactly 1 day. By December 2, it was gone. Merged, voluntarily but under pressure, into the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes, which would later become Yugoslavia. The shortest-lived country in modern European history had come and gone in less than 24 hours. But to understand why a country would exist for a single day, you need to understand the chaos of Central Europe in November 1918. The Austro-Hungarian Empire had just collapsed. For centuries, this empire had controlled a vast territory encompassing modern-day Austria, Hungary, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and parts of Italy, Poland, Romania, and Ukraine. When it dissolved at the end of World War I, its constituent peoples were suddenly free and suddenly unprotected. The South Slavic peoples, Slovenes, Croats, and Serbs living within the former empire, faced an immediate threat. Italy, which had been promised territorial concessions by the Allies in exchange for joining the war, was advancing into Slovenian and Croatian territory. Italian troops were occupying Trieste, Istria, and Dalmatia regions with significant South Slavic populations. The South Slavic leaders in Zagreb had a problem. They were no longer part of any recognized state. Without statehood, they had no legal standing to negotiate with Italy. They had no army to resist Italian occupation. They had no seat at the peace conference that would determine the borders of post-war Europe. Their solution was to declare independence. On October 29, 1918, the National Council of Slovenes, Croats, and Serbs declared the creation of an independent state. They hoped this declaration would give them the diplomatic standing to negotiate directly with the Allied powers and prevent Italian annexation of their territory. It did not work. The Allied powers did not recognize the new state. Italy continued its advance. And the only South Slavic country that the Allies did recognize was the Kingdom of Serbia, which had fought on the Allied side during the war and had powerful friends at the peace table. The leaders in Zagreb faced a stark choice: remain independent and watch Italy annex their western territories while the Allies ignored their protests, or merge with Serbia and gain the protection of an internationally recognized state with a military capable of resisting Italian expansion. They chose merger. On December 1, 1918, the state of Slovenes, Croats, and Serbs formally united with the Kingdom of Serbia and the Kingdom of Montenegro to create the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes. The decision was not unanimous. Many Croatian and Slovenian politicians opposed the merger, arguing that it would subordinate their nations to Serbian dominance. They were right. The new kingdom was dominated by the Serbian monarchy and Serbian political institutions. Croatian and Slovenian autonomy was progressively eroded over the following decades. The consequences of that one-day country would echo for the rest of the century. The Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes became Yugoslavia in 1929. Yugoslavia survived World War II, was rebuilt under communist leader Josip Broz Tito, and held together through the Cold War. But the tensions that existed on December 1, 1918, between peoples who wanted their own nations and the geopolitical forces that pushed them together never disappeared. When Tito died in 1980 and communism collapsed in 1989, those tensions exploded. Yugoslavia disintegrated in a series of wars that killed over 140,000 people and displaced millions. Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia, Montenegro, Kosovo, and North Macedonia all became independent countries, essentially reversing the merger that had occurred in 1918. It took 75 years, 4 wars, and 140,000 deaths to undo what was decided in a single day. The state of Slovenes, Croats, and Serbs is a footnote in history textbooks. It appears on no map. It issued no currency. It signed no treaties. It existed for approximately 24 hours, created by people who had no better options and dissolved by people who believed bigger was safer. They were wrong. But on December 1, 1918, with Italian troops advancing and the great powers ignoring their existence, it was the only decision they could make. One day. One country. And a century of consequences. If you found this fascinating, subscribe for more stories like this. We post new videos every week.